We're here at DSEI 2019 and I'm speaking to Paul Tarry, Director of Special Vehicles, Ricardo UK. Paul, we're standing beside a Ford Ranger, a military green Ford Ranger, a non-standard Ford Ranger. What's Ricardo's involvement with that? What have you done to it and why?
Well, the reason we've done this Ford Ranger is that we believe there's a requirement for a light green Ford Ranger. There's a general service vehicles. Land Rovers are currently very old, not many of them left around, and we believe this vehicle could possibly replace those types of vehicles. Low cost, potentially you could lease these vehicles as well through the manufacturers.
And the Ford Ranger as an example, what have you done to it? What else could you do to it? And what do you think that might offer the military? Is a Ford Ranger robust enough to replace something as fundamentally durable and everlasting as a Land Rover Defender?
Well, we believe that the Ford Ranger product is as durable nowadays as a Land Rover. Land Rovers was designed 30, 40 years ago. So the capability of a base vehicle with our expertise within Ricardo is exactly what UK and European forces possibly need as a general service vehicle. The conversions we've carried out on this vehicle are very mild, and that's the plan for this show, was to show that you don't actually have to do a lot to a base Ford platform to achieve a general service vehicle. So we've only put limited conversions on the vehicle. We've got rubberized floor in the vehicle. We've got a comms solution which sits through the middle of the vehicle, very simple to use. In the rear of the vehicle, we've gone for a very flexible approach where we've got collar rail where you can lock in different solutions. So you can have jerry cans, you could have ammunition boxes, you can have BV, which is obviously very important to UK forces.
And could you go to things like suspension lifts, payload upgrades, military style bumpers, winches, blackout lights? I mean, given the base is quite a modern, commercially acceptable product, are those things something you could realistically and cost effectively do?
Yes, we can. I mean, actually, if you walk around this vehicle, we've actually got a winch on the front of this vehicle. It's integral in the front bumper, so it's flush fitting, so it doesn't change the profile of the outside of the vehicle. It's got IR lights on this vehicle. So yes, and regarding suspension uplifts and payload increases, jointly with Ford, we've got a number of solutions which can be looked at.
And a little bit further along and a little bit deeper than that, a modern engine and poor grade aviation jet fuel JP8s, the two should not be mentioned in the same sentence. What are you going to do to make sure that something like this can run on jet fuel, basically?
Well, the great thing about working with Ford is that, along with other converters which they support, is that they are actually now looking at this market, helping to look at solutions to running these vehicles on JP8 fuels. So that will be a solution where you will be able to run this vehicle on aviation fuels.
And this particular vehicle, we're in the UK. The UK definitely needs to replace a lot of its old Land Rovers, a lot of its old Pinzgauers. Should one look at this and read into the fact that you're kind of pushing this towards the MOD for that replacement, or is this purely coincidental?
No, I think we do see that there's a lot of comments about the cost of running an ageing fleet, and we'd like to think it's MOD's decision, but we think this is a solution which could be more cost effective long term for UK and Europe as a general service vehicle. We're not talking about a frontline fighting vehicle. No, that's not the role. It's to support around camps, etc. in this general service role.
And we all know that a vehicle like this comes down a production line. Everything is optimized for that production line. Everything is costed in. And as soon as you do something like change the shape of the windscreen wipers, prices skyrocket. So do you think that taking something like this, a £30,000 car, by the time you have done your little bit of modification, whatever the MOD requires, is it still going to be cost effective? Or by the time you have taken it off a production line, taken pieces off, put more pieces back on, the labour, the engineering, all that sort of stuff is factored in. Is it not going to be almost as expensive as buying a tactical utility vehicle in the first place?
Absolutely not. I mean, we believe that either it would come down a Ford production line, as you say. There's opportunities depending how mild green the customer wants it, that some of those solutions could be fitted by Ford, and it wouldn't even pass through Ricardo, but we would have been involved in the integration solution. Or if it's slightly more complicated, we still believe that, with Ricardo's knowledge and experience of developing vehicles for Land Rover, Foxhound vehicles, that we can come up with a cost-effective solution to add on these parts.
And looking at the UK MOD absolutely very specifically, if there was an option to lease, would that be something that Ricardo might also become involved in, or would you draw the line there and, we are engineering, we are not a vehicle lease hire company?
Yeah, I would draw the line at that. I mean, our focused business is automotive engineering, the uplifts of vehicles. I think we would look at partnering with someone for that. Again, I can't speak for Ford, but obviously either Ford would manage that part of it, or we would work with a third party. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you very much indeed.